As we look at the second part of section 6.3 in standard form, we want to focus right now on horizontal and vertical lines. Just as a reminder, horizontal and vertical lines, a horizontal line is going to have a slope equaling 0. A vertical line is going to have a slope that has two different definitions of it. One, we call it undefined. Secondly, sometimes it's referred to as no slope. So either one of those two phrases could be related to an idea of a vertical line. Now, as we look at our three equations here, it's important to understand this means y equals 2. It doesn't matter what x is. So right at this spot right here, y equals 2. And over here, y equals 2. And y equals 2 right here. And y equals 2 anywhere along this horizontal area. So the equation y equals 2 is a horizontal line going through the value 2 on the y-axis. So this horizontal line goes through the y-axis. And so I'm going to write that down. It goes through the y-axis. So as a reminder, anytime you have y equals a number, it goes through the y-axis, and also as a reminder, the slope is 0. Now we look at our next one. We have x equals negative 3. So right here, x equals negative 3, all the way up and down, all of these values, including right on the x-axis, x equals negative 3. So I'm going to draw my line vertically, x equals negative 3. And so, probably should do that with a straight edge. So there's my line, x equals negative 3. In this case, it went through the x-axis, and the slope was undefined. So as we look and remember that idea, anytime you have x equals a number, it goes through the x-axis. Y equals a number, it goes through the y-axis. So here's our third one, y equals negative 1. It's a y equals a number, so it goes through the y-axis, and it goes through the y-axis at negative 1. What is the slope of this red line? The slope of it, hopefully you would realize, is 0. So that's our summary of horizontal and vertical lines. Our last part that we're going to look at is writing equations in standard form. Standard form, once again, is ax plus by equals c, where the x and the y are on the left and the c is on the right, and all three numbers in front must be integers. So, as we look at that, we first consider our three equations down here. We have y equals 2/3 x plus 4. Our first objective is to eliminate the fraction, and the way we do that is by multiplying by the common denominator. In this case, that is 3. So I'm going to multiply each of my parts of my equation by 3. So I've written a 3 outside of each one. I have y, 2/3 x, and 4. That gives me 3y, the 3's here cancel, 2x, and 12. It's not quite into x's and y's on the left-hand side, so to do that, I need to move that 2x over to the other side by subtracting it from both sides. That leaves me a result of negative 2x plus 3y equals positive 12. Now the x's and y's are on the same side of the equation, the numbers are on the other, and they're all integers, so this is called standard form. Our next one, we have a negative 1/2 x plus 7. The denominator is a 2, so I'm going to multiply everything by 2. So I put in my original equation, y, negative 1/2x, and 7. Notice I put the negative on the top. That gives me 2y equals negative 1x plus 14. To get the x's and y's on the same side, I'm going to add 1x to both sides of the equation. That gives me a result of 1x plus 2y equals 14. Once again, they're all integers, and so this is standard form. Our last example, we don't have a fraction. Because we don't have a fraction, I don't need to multiply by everything, but I can immediately go to our step where we're going to move the 4x over to the left-hand side. When I do that, I'm left with negative 4x plus y equals negative 6. Don't forget to bring down the negative on the 6. Now sometimes the book is going to write its answer this way, but I need you to be understanding and realize that the book might write the answer like this: 4x minus y equals positive 6. And what they did was they multiplied each of our terms by negative 1. So in this case, both of these answers would be correct answers, either with 2 negatives or with 1 negative. So in summary, we want to remember to multiply by the common denominator, and then move the x's over to the left to join the y's, and leave the whole numbers on the right-hand side.